Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck at Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce,
Patrick Kay,
and Adam Scott. Hello.
You can contact us on email at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. Okay, so in news surprising just about no one, Telltale have finally done a deal with Marvel to make games based on, I guess, all their superhero properties.
What you're saying is they've just bought the rights to print money.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe they're making a game about Queen Elizabeth II. Who knows?
Marvel's Queen
Yes.
Elizabeth II.
Well,
Be like Agent Carter, but with ruffles and stuff. I don't know.
Marvel's
Winter Tales.
Lizzie the Cocksmiter. That would be her superhero name. She just goes around and takes chavs and smites them.
On the cock.
We're all just thinking about that mental image now, listener.
Why am I thinking
Yeah.
about horse genitals?
Because you're
I
a
don't know,
dirty fascist.
You started me off. You started me.
What? My
I
genitals are
honestly
not
just-
horse-sized? What are you talking
Anyway,
about?
get it.
I honestly just
No.
want to see other people make those Telltale games. I've said this before, right?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want people to rip them off and just make games like that,
Yes.
but with their own,
But do you think they'd be
their
as
own
good?
stories. They could be just as good. Of course, they could. I mean,
Well, it depends who's doing it.
Journey, Dreamfall: A Longest
Told.
Journey. It sort of did that. It kind of nicked that kind of choose your own path, mechanic. But I just want to see. I want to see other people do it. I want to see people do it who don't have like a £1 million studio attached to the name. Something that's got a bit
And a
of
massive
freedom.
franchise.
Yeah, it's just something that's got a bit of freedom to just make something totally original.
Oh, so you mean do something
By
that's not
ripping
licensed?
them off, by stealing, make
Yeah,
something
do
original.
something really original by doing
copying
what
Telltale games
Telltale
is what I'm
did.
saying.
But,
Yeah.
to be fair, the pathing story, the pathing story thing isn't exactly new, is it?
No, but
We've all got Steve Jackson books in the cupboard somewhere. Or Colin Jackson, who was it? It was Steve Jackson, wasn't it? Colin Jackson's book was an entirely different thing.
I'm still playing those sorts of games. Honestly, though, the Telltale formula, it's the illusion of choice that those games provide. It's the way in which the story is told, not where the story goes.
But
that's,
it always
that's
makes
the
you
Telltale
feel
source.
it makes you feel the weight of your choices,
Yeah.
regardless
It gives
of
you
whether or not
agency.
they really do anything. Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel that, and that's the point. That's why they
Yeah.
work so well.
So yeah, I guess we'll be swiping Iron Man and the Hulk around very soon or
I have
something.
to say, the fact that Telltale are making Marvel games means that I might actually play them. I probably wouldn't touch any Marvel games if they were made by someone else. If there was just a third person smash 'em up or whatever, I couldn't be any more bored with that. But this I'd probably do it. But I don't really know how. I'm just trying to think because the Marvel universe is quite action orientated. So how's Telltale's formula going to split in with that?
Well, in my opinion, and I know other opinions are available, I happen to think that the Marvel films, with particular respect, the Avengers, is incredibly character driven. Yeah, sure, there's a big MacGuffin or whatever, but the only reason those films work, arguably, is because that it's that magic trick of juggling all those huge characters that can have a whole film based around them and making sure that they all get the right amount of time. I feel like I'm actually reviewing Avengers at the moment instead of talking about this, but when I saw Telltale doing deal with Marvel, that to me was on the same level as Joss Whedon is writing and directing the Avengers. That's cool. They'll probably be quite good.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good fit. I know what you mean. I know what you mean about that, but I think it's important to say that the Avengers movies are quite character driven for the genre.
Yeah,
I mean, if you compare
that's
it with
fair.
if you compare it with Man of Steel or something
Transformers.
like that, then I mean, if you Transformers, just pour hydrochloric acid into my ear and just be done with it, melt my fucking head. But at least, yes, I agree with you. But I mean, the Captain America movie, Winter Soldier, there was much talking about what a taut political thriller it was, and it was really lightweight as far as the political stuff was going.
But there was a bit of it.
Well, yeah.
No, there was.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there wasn't that. I'm not trying to take it away. But I'm saying comparatively, it's not a political.
Yeah. And that's. I don't really think there is enough character stuff there. I've not seen Age of Ultron, and I'm in no rush to, but because I'm not a fan of fun. But I've spoken with people that have seen it, and from what they said, and they're massive Marvel fans, and they said didn't really get a lot of the characters. There was more time spent on the characters. Hawkeye has more time on him. The new characters are available, but
Hawkeye gets loads of time. Actually,
he's not delving into the reasons why he is who he is. He's making puns and quips at everybody else. Characterisation isn't taking the piss out of your mates, and from my impression, that seems to be a lot of what these movies are about, especially the big ensemble ones.
Whedon's dialogue is certainly quite like that.
It's not a bad thing. I think that's great. I love quippy movies, but would it make a Telltale game? I don't think so.
Well, I think the point, maybe what we can be optimistic and say, perhaps Telltale is going to fill in some of that stuff that we're missing in the movies.
Yeah.
It's going to add richness to the tapestry of the character interactions rather than...
Maybe they'll make a
Daredevil.
Maybe they'll make Daredevil.
I was just about to say that,
Yeah, just do Daredevil. Yeah, that's fucking brilliant. That would work as well as Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead has, pretty much. That level of character stuff amidst the action would certainly work.
I'd actually like to see Dexter done in those. Huge Dexter fan. I think I reckon Telltales could do a great Dexter game.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think there was a Dexter game, wasn't there?
There was a shitty mobile
dreadful.
thing. It was pretty crap.
Not good.
Oh well. Moving on then. We've got Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is a reason I might want a PS4 at some point.
Another reason.
Yeah, one more on the fire. Yeah, this looks great. It's sort of like got a bit of a sort of English countryside vibe to it. It's sort of like when I watched the trailer for this, it was kind of how I felt about The Vanishing of Ethan Carter a bit. I don't know if they use the same techniques, but yeah, it's like you're in the English countryside. Although the trailer on this link is not the right one. But yeah, I don't know. Have you read much about this, Pat? I know you liked the look of it, didn't you?
Yeah, so it's like it looks like a kind of similar thing to Vanishing of Ethan Carter, or maybe closer to Dear Esther, where it's like a kind of exploration thing. It does look gorgeous, though, doesn't it? I think there is some photogrammetry used in it. Looking at some of the video,
that's the word I was looking for. They've used that for Battlefront as well, I heard.
That's right, yeah. You're going to see
or something
lots
like that.
and lots and lots of that being used in the next couple of years, because it's quite a cheap and easy way of making incredibly realistic assets. And it's got to a point where the cost of the stuff for making that is definitely affordable to a lot of these studios. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of photorealistic stuff popping up over the next few years. I'm absolutely sure of it. But yeah, this looks really interesting. I don't know if I'd buy a PS4 to play it, especially as it's probably going to come out on PC later anyway. But yeah, like the gorgeous sort of like the way they've captured like that kind of British countryside, and yeah, it looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it?
It does look lovely.
Is this by the people that did A Machine for Pigs?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's those guys, isn't it? Yeah, so it probably will come out on PC.
Did any of you guys play that?
No.
Yeah.
No,
it's in my
too scary.
Too scary. It is.
Well, it looked too scary.
It's a great game though. It was really well made.
Yeah, it does look like a little bit of a walking around thing, but it's got. They've said that they're going for like a Day of the Triffids kind of vibe.
Yeah, that was the thing. John Wyndham stuff kind of struck out to me when I saw the longer version. I don't know if that's what you've just linked to, Rob, but there were two American journalists talking about it, and as they're walking through the village, I didn't even know what was going on, but I immediately started thinking about Wyndham-esque, English apocalypse.
That's a good...
Yeah. Right. What have we got next? They're remaking Shadow of the Beast again, only on PS4 for now. Anyway, I thought this was interesting. Did anyone play the original back in the day?
I did. That game. The third one wasn't as nightmarish, but yeah, 2.
1989.
Shouted at my Amiga many a time over that game.
It was just so brutally hard. There was no saving. I think you could get a code at the end of each level, which went on forever. But it was 2D. Again, this is another 2.5D remake. They're not as restricted with the camera, but essentially the gameplay is 2D still. But yeah, it was a very simplistic game. It was always notable for its visuals. Was it Cyanosis?
That's right,
original?
yeah.
Psygnosis.
And they made a lot of very interesting looking games, didn't they? A lot of their cover art was Roger Dean artwork, and that's that guy who did loads of kind of psychedelic rock album covers in the 70s. And they often
certainly look nothing like the games.
Well, yeah, but the games kind of tried to do that kind of weird, trippy look. The Shadow of the Beast 2 definitely.
I think he was inspired by what they were doing and went off and did his own thing, pretty much.
Who? Roger Dean was inspired by Psygnosis?
Well, no, I think they probably went with the concept and then he kind of ran with it. But I think they were the artwork they used were often pre-existing ones. I think ones he'd already done. Oh right. So it was all their games used his art as a basis, sort of thing.
No, I think they were influenced by his art, but he made a couple of their box arts.
Yeah, I remember them well. There was one I liked that was it was like R-Type, but you were like flying around as a giant owl. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a brilliant looking game.
Yeah, they always had really cool, stylized art, and always interesting looking. Always more interesting to look at than to play. Actually, those games, to be fair.
That's fair. But games that probably will be just as interesting to play as they look are a couple of gameplay videos that we've seen recently of the two games that Avalanche have in development right now. The first of which I guess we might be looking forward to the most is Just Cause 3. They've released a trailer, I think it was today or yesterday, the gameplay reveal, and it's just as balmy as I think we were expecting. Lots of hoping, it's like jumping onto planes, throwing out the driver, flying off and all that. I know you're looking forward to this, aren't you, Ian?
Absolutely. Played many hours in Just Cause 2. It's just a crazy game. It's one of those games you get lost in and you just start doing stuff and forget what you were doing there. Because you're dragging yourself around the island using a grapple hook and a parachute. It's just, it's great. It's more of that would be good. The second one is frequently available on Steam for like £2.50 English. If you've got a lull in your gaming calendar, not really sure how you would, but maybe you have. It's a great game. You'll get many hours of fun and madness out of it. And it's a great alternative to GTA if you don't like granny murdering. It's good fun. There are still grannies to murder, but that's not really the objective of the game.
But they're normally like terrorists.
Granny terrorists.
Terrorist granny.
No, I think it's dangerous at this stage to make the assumption that every granny is a terrorist. There are civilians on the island of Panau or wherever it is. And while you can run them over, it's not really in your interest to. They don't drop money like they do in GTA, I've heard.
Yeah, I think it sort of sits somewhere between GTA and Far Cry, but is kind of more bonkers than either one, sort of thing. Like in the terms of the stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff being dragged around on like trailers and cranes and things and hanging on and standing on planes in midair and stuff.
It is absolutely ridiculous the stuff you can do, but it's really good fun. It is really good fun.
Well, yeah,
It does
I'm
look fun.
sure that will be fun. I think it's out later on this year, isn't it? Pretty sure. I don't think there's a rock solid date for it yet. But there is a rock solid date for the new Mad Max game, which we hadn't seen anything from this for a while, and I was beginning to worry if it had like slipped a little. But it's actually coming out on it's September the 4th. So
Nice.
It's going to be one of the first kind of games coming into the autumn bloodbath. Hopefully it will miss a lot of that coming out early in September. But yeah, I really like the look of what was in the video. Like we saw, they start off by sort of explaining like how important the car is and how you get to sort of build that up out of bits that you find and scavenge, and you know, that to me is like straight away epitomises what Mad Max is about, and the combat looks like it's like a little bit sort of Batman style. I think it's just becoming the correct way of doing doing like melee combat now, isn't it? Pretty much all these games borrowing it. But yeah, it looks pretty mad, like similar visual style to the trailers we've seen of the film that is out in a few weeks. The character model for the main guy looks like the dude from Spartacus, I thought. Not the guy who passed, but
yeah, I'm just looking at the trailer now. It looks like there's a really nice. I see what you mean about the car, because there's a section where you're like in an old workshop and there's all these broken down car chassis, and you can choose a car chassis and build it up and make it into the car that you want. And I have to say, I love stuff like that. I remember I used to play Crimson Skies, and you used to be able to make your own aircraft in Crimson Skies, and you could either have a really fast agile fighter, or you could have a really heavy, like, you know, could soak up punishment but just dish it out as well. And I miss something like that. I think this is actually pretty interesting to me, because it's it's got the right kind of combat I like. It's got the Shadow of Mordor style Batman melee. I like the whole customizing the car bit. I guess the barrier for me, as it is with a lot of these games, is just how vast it is. Whether there's actually I find with open world games, because I have limited time to play, if I don't have any kind of narrative, then I just potter around and don't really do anything, with the exception of Elite. And so but this looks like it's really worth experimenting with. It looks great, actually.
I'm just waiting for the E3 demo, and then they go, oh yeah, and you know that Nemesis system, yeah, we put that in there, like, you know, because it's like, well, give it, maybe not this year, but next year I can see that popping up a few times. But like, yeah, it looks like a massive world, like you say. I like the fact that, as well as like the customization on the vehicles, you've actually got, like, you could sort of tell when it was doing that little donut that like the physics of the car will probably be quite affected, I would hope. You know, I mean, if it makes sense, you know, if you're going to bolt loads of stuff to your vehicle, like, it's going to affect the way it handles. And looks like there's some big convoys to smash into. And yeah, I think after the movie coming out, if the movie's a success, then they're going to have, their hands full with this game, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Other news, a lot of people were upset about this, because CD Projekt Red made a big fuss about the fact that all the DLC for The Witcher 3 was going to be free, and there was going to be lots of it. But they've also gone, but actually, we are going to do some DLC that will be paid for. But to be honest, these sound more like big expansion packs. Like, they've said right up front that they're going to be like 10 to 20 hours long. But yeah, they basically, there's a season pass for the game now, because the game's about to come out, and so I guess they felt the pressure to get involved in that game, and so yeah, you can get a bundle for $80. It works out for the PC game plus the season pass. personally, I never fall for these, especially for like games that boast 200 hours out of the box already. So yeah, it's not bothered me at all. I think they've justified what you're paying for if you want to, and yeah, and there'll be lots of the free DLC will still be happening. All the little cosmetic bits of fluff that they'll be putting out weekly. You've already pre-ordered this, haven't you, Ian?
Quite a long time ago, yes.
Yeah, you do realise.
But that was based on. Okay, it's always a risk.
Was that after it?
No, it was. I ordered it before that.
Right.
I think I ordered it summer last year. Actually, it was really early on. It was based on everybody's high regard of the previous games, which I've owned, but I haven't finished, and probably haven't got halfway through the second one. And the fact it was going to be open world. So I liked the first games, but I get a bit story there. I just want to go around and chop stuff up, and help a little boy find his necklace, like that quest in WoW that I always did every time with a character. And as yet, this company hasn't fucked people over with their product, to the best of my knowledge. This might be the one they fuck people over with, in which case I won't pre-order The Witcher 4. But I will decide.
You have a long time to forget about that.
Yeah.
Before
the internet never forgets.
This is supposed to be the final one. It's not going to be the final one, is it?
No.
I think this is going to be too big.
There'll be prequels and there'll be all kinds of other stuff.
Is everybody getting this?
Yeah.
Or am I the only one?
Yeah.
You're getting it, Rob, aren't you? Pat, you're getting it?
I'm
getting it.
day one.
I don't know about day one, but I'm definitely getting it.
I was day one, but I'm busy. Like, I've got so many other games at the moment.
Exactly.
Basically, if I can finish Pillars of Eternity before day one, I will get it. But then I'll still have GTA to play. Oh God, yeah. So it doesn't stop. But anyway, it's all good. It's an embarrassment of riches, I believe, is the term. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of more RPGs from that part of the world, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Just a bit of an update on this. They put out a video a few weeks back, and I thought they were further along than this, but they are saying that they're now on course for a summer 2016 release with an early access beta before that. So they've apologised and everything, but they said, scope and all that. And they do seem, they've been doing the regular updates for their Kickstarter backers. I'm not a Kickstarter backer, but I'm interested in the game. So, yeah. So that's where they are with that. Did you pay any attention to these Mass Effect 4 leaks, Adam?
Yeah, I did. I paid attention to anything about Mass Effect, to be honest. So I did, I was. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest, because what happened was someone posted on Reddit, which sparked a whole load of news articles, that they were a big Mass Effect 4, big Mass Effect fan, but they'd been asked to participate in a survey about how they felt about certain things that they wanted to bring into Mass Effect 4. And so it should be pointed out that everything that he leaked, if you want to use it that term, came from information and questions, information he'd be given to answer survey questions, and none of it was confirmed to be in the next Mass Effect 4 game. But what he has stated is what he listed as being in there is consistent with a lot of the earlier rumours about where they were going and how they were going to play out the new franchise. It all fits, put it that way. So, I mean, they've basically said, spoilers anyone if you don't want to do this, possible spoilers. So the next Mass Effect game takes place in the Andromeda Galaxy in a whole cluster of star systems. It is supposed to be 4 times the map with all the star systems you can visit. It's supposed to be 4 times the size of all the star systems in Mass Effect 3.
Oh,
Jesus.
God!
Yeah. Oh no, there's more. There's more. So basically, I won't read out the whole thing, but the salient points are you're there as like a pathfinder to find places for possible expansion into the new galaxy, and your role there is to basically set up colonized planets, set up colonies and outposts, and
set up an inquisition. Maybe?
Yeah, this is the thing. It sounds honestly, you could look at everything you've got here and it sounds very much like Dragon Age Inquisition. You've got to go around, collect resources, set up bases, expand your influence, interact with other people, resolve issues. And this is what I said after Dragon Age Inquisition came out, that my fear for Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect, was it was going to be another one of these semi-MMO style open world-ish games, which were absolutely massive. And I'll say it before and I'll say it again, I loved playing Dragon Age Inquisition, but it was just too big. It was too big for me. If you ran through it, you could get done in 60 or 70 hours. Mass Effect, for me, is a tight narrative experience that most games I've completed, I played a lot out there, by about 25 hours or something like that. And I loved it because it never felt like it was overly bloated, and this is my big fear. If this is true, everything they're saying through in here, you have to set up, there's this thing called strike team missions where you have to set out your AI controls strike teams to go and deal with issues on the other side of the galaxy that you're in. There's just
which
a lot
basically
of
is
stuff.
It's just a load of sort of micromanagement to deal with in between missions
to stop you. It's basically like, let's get you to do everything. Let's get you to run a whole thing. Wouldn't it be great if you ran a whole galaxy? No, it wouldn't. I don't want to run a whole galaxy. I want a story.
That stuff sometimes. I get pissed off with that stuff sometimes because it so easily betrays itself as a cheap game mechanic, as a cheap trick that's just been put in, and like it just feels like a 5-minute job. And like the Assassin's Creed games started to piss me off for that, like the treasure digging and stuff like that. You've literally just made an animation.
Yeah,
I find that stuff.
It just seems like
it's just putting annoying distractions in it, and that's not what I play a game for.
No. I mean, and that's it. If I want to play an MMO, I'll play an MMO. I love Mass Effect because I engage with the characters. Luckily, it says that there's all these characters in there. They all have side quests and stuff, and hopefully there will be a path there where you can do the core storyline, do the character stuff that you're interested in, and still get a fairly rich experience. My worry is, as with Dragon Age Inquisition, that a lot of the later story content is gated by bullshit narrative points. In Dragon Age Inquisition, you had to get a certain amount of, was it influence or power? It's been a while since I played. You had to get a certain amount of power, which you got by effectively grinding stuff in the different zones you were in. And I don't want to grind in Mass Effect. I want to be the focal point of a story. I was really hoping the next Mass Effect would have you more as a Malcolm Reynolds type in a ship that had nothing to do with the Earth Alliance, that you had a ship of renegades, and you could either play it being a bastard or you could play it being the Han Solo type Heart of Gold smuggler, and you get involved in situations like that. I thought it would have been a much more interesting take on it than start another fucking empire and spend 100 hours doing it.
Well, hopefully there's some of that, and maybe they're just trying to, if you want to be optimistic, you could say maybe they're just trying to make a bigger world so that you can... I've got no problem with them making a bigger world if the actions that you take in that world are meaningful.
I need to, and I fully recognise I'm not in the completely target demographic for this, because I only have 4 or 5 hours of gaming time a week, and any game much beyond 30 hours is a struggle for me, and I wouldn't want everyone else to suffer because of people like me. But the point is, I do worry. I did feel, as much as I love playing Dragon Age, that it was somewhat bloated, and it was full of time sink stuff and fetch quests and a lot of stuff that really didn't contribute much to the story. As much as I saw contextually it all fitted, and I enjoyed doing the quests, I enjoyed doing it all. I enjoyed playing the game, but I 60, 70 hours in, I thought I was about halfway through, and I thought, I've got other things to do with my life than do this.
Yeah, I mean, if I was you, Adam, I would just, if you've got the power for it, just run to the end. Because, I mean, there's those other worlds that you can look at, maybe pop over there, have a look, come back, because all you're going to be doing there is basically what you did in every other location.
Yeah.
There was one place that I did like, which I think was called the Hissing Waste. I quite enjoyed that. I was just in the mood for it at the time, and I enjoyed reading all the little story. And when I found this place sort of almost by accident, I definitely enjoyed the exploration there. But
I appreciate that, and I like it, but that's not my concern. It's not the fact that I can't finish it. It's the fact that doing so, I'm missing out on so much content. And
it's annoying, yeah.
Yeah, and I would prefer in the Mass Effect games. I mean, the Dragon Age games have, well, certainly Dragon Age Origins was a much bigger game initially, but my preference for a Mass Effect game is a much tighter narrative based on the protagonist of the story. So it actually feels like there is something to do and deal with rather than just go off, explore and have your own adventure. I know lots of people love open world games, and if I had more time maybe I would too, but I think Mass Effect would be somewhat diluted by that. What made Mass Effect special to me, made it my favourite game series of all time, would be somewhat diluted if Shepard was, or whoever it is, was going off and doing mindless fetch quests and picking up lockets and doing all that kind of crap. I worry about it, that's all.
No, that's fair enough. We better move on. Just a couple of games you won't be playing anytime soon. Alan Wake 2, they released some gameplay. Remedy released some gameplay of what they were pitching to Microsoft as a possible sequel. To me, didn't really set. It didn't make me pine for what is not to be. It just looked more like the first game, which, to be honest, I think is a bit overrated. I don't know how you guys feel about Alan Wake.
Oh, I loved it.
I'd like to have finished it. I keep reinstalling it, meaning to finish it up. The game, I thought it was really good as far as I've played. Got the expansion to get through as well, the other bit game, whatever it was.
Oh, the nightmare thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Yeah, I didn't get that.
It was a game I really just loved for the story and the setting, really. The whole thing had a real kind of weird, eerie Twin Peaks vibe to it, and
Stephen King-y type.
I just loved it. I thought it was awesome. But yeah, like
it had one of those.
At the same time, it's one of those games that just doesn't need to be a franchise. It just doesn't need to be a trilogy. It was a game, and you finished it, and that wrapped it up. And I don't think really need another one. It was kind of its uniqueness was what made it good, and I don't think it's a big loss.
Well, I think if you just look at this, you only have to look at this footage to. Yeah, I completely agree. It did what it set out to do, and it did it very well. But yeah, I think Microsoft made the right call, and said, "This is fine. Why don't you do a different game?" So that's kind of how I felt about it. One more game we won't be seeing is Silent Hills. This has just been cancelled today. There's been a lot of stuff going on with Kojima. Apparently, there's some rumours going on that he's going to leave Konami. But I think they're trying to be delicate with this because Metal Gear Solid 5 is about to come out, so they don't want to come right out with it. But I think other sources have revealed Norman Reedus, who was going to be in Silent Hills, and also Guillermo del Toro, who was supposed to be involved with making a game, with making this game. He's basically said that he's not going to be able to do it, and that the game is just not happening. So
Shit.
It's a shame.
Yeah. PT is getting yanked on tomorrow. That's getting yanked off the PlayStation Store. That was supposedly the first interactive trailer for a game, and what I didn't play that myself, but everything in that trailer or whatever it was, I think got people excited for a new Silent Hills game, especially one made by Kojima. But apparently he's not involved. He might not even be at the company very soon, and there's all kinds of craziness going on there, and Silent Hills is not happening.
Boo.
Yeah. So that's that. And were you guys excited about a new Silent Hill?
Excited might be going a bit far, but I was interested. I would have played that one probably.
The PT footage looked... I didn't play it, I don't know if PS4, but the footage of it on YouTube, it looked lovely in a dark and horrible way. But it did look really, really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of just pissed off I won't be able to play that tech demo. Because if you don't download it today, you can never download it, basically.
It'll always be on YouTube, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's where you'd find it unless someone can sort of extract it out of their PS4 and upload it somewhere or something. I don't know how any of that works. But yeah. Bummer. This has been the Not Playing Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk. You can contact us on email at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
See ya. See ya.
I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty. I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty.
Rob, did you watch that video for the game or for Andrea Renee?
I watched it for the game. I didn't know she was on it.
Your nose is getting longer there, mate. You didn't know she was... Okay, fair enough.
She was backing me up on one of Jeff Kanata's comments about FX the other day.
She was backing you up.
Yeah, well, like, because I was just saying that he was saying that, you know, FX were better than AMC. And
had you
and I
popped
disagreed.
around for a bit of role-playing at Jeff's?
No, I was just... sometimes he says things on Facebook and I have to disagree.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
it says on the
I've just
Steam
noticed
page...
the Star Wars collection is in the Steam sale.
Yes.
And I've just fallen into a pit.
Battlefront 2 is on there, but there's no service for it, is there?
Oh, wait a minute! It's not all the games. This collection used to be a lot bigger. Still, so the couple of ones I only had on my Xbox. Sorry, I'm digressing. Anyway, but yeah, Trine 3 is awesome.
Okay.
Super.